What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and I just wanted to get a couple of quick hit videos in here while I have a little bit of time. As many of you know, I am still in the world of Night Shift Hell in the process of restoring power to a bunch of folks without it. So I have a little bit of time here, so I thought we could maybe talk about one thing that I haven't really seen anybody talking about that much, and I think it might possibly be a bigger deal, and that is the very recent mentions of the virtual tabletop. Now, for those of you who are unaware, Wizards of the Coast is working on a virtual tabletop. They announced it last year at their D&D Direct live stream. I've gotten a chance to play around with it at three different occasions. The summit, in a home playtest that they allowed for certain folks to have access to, and then again at PAX Unplugged last year. Now, the time frame initially was supposed to be open beta for D&D Beyond subscribers. Was original timeline was end of last year. Now, obviously, that didn't happen, and we haven't really heard much on the virtual tabletop front at all. In fact, we've seen a lot of things that made people question whether or not the virtual tabletop would even be a thing, given that D&D has official partnerships now with things like Foundry. They've always had stuff with Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds, but now they have an official partnership with Foundry too, which is another step. And then obviously they have things like D&D Beyond Maps, which is a pretty good interim step. But there's all these different things going on, and people kind of just forgot, I think, about the virtual tabletop. And it's interesting because we got kind of the first look at something new happening in the virtual tabletop in the form of when you go to pre-order things on D&D Beyond, and then there's been a little bit more in some videos with a little more information. So I thought I would showcase this to you all. So here we are on D&D Beyond. If you're going to go and pre-order the player's handbook here, which again is available now, if you were to scroll down, take a look at what you get kind of bundling, pre-order the physical digital core bundle, and it says you'll receive these exclusive D&D collectibles. Dragons of D&D digital art book, which I don't even think I've heard anybody mention that either. I don't know if that's a unique book or if this is an existing book that we're just getting. The D&D Beyond gold digital dice set. And then here, 50th anniversary digital gold dragon mini releasing with the closed beta of the upcoming 3D virtual tabletop requires a D&D Beyond account. So that's something else to consider, right? We kind of assumed, as there was integration that allowed you to link character sheets on D&D Beyond to tokens within the virtual tabletop, that you would probably have some tie to D&D Beyond, but that is a confirmation that you do need to have a D&D Beyond account to access the 3D virtual tabletop. But you're going to get this 50th anniversary digital gold dragon mini, which is apparently, I don't know if it's going to be something that'll be available for purchase for folks at a later date. We still don't really know what the landscape will look like for this virtual tabletop. Will it have microtransactions? And by that, I mean like the ability to purchase kind of a la carte monsters or minis or adventures. We don't really know. I know microtransactions has a negative connotation, specifically in terms when it comes to video games. And I don't disagree with that. But what I meant, I guess I should have said, specific purchases, right? Like if you don't want to buy the entire monster manual, but maybe you want to just buy the dragons, maybe you could buy a dragon pack or buy them individually. There's a couple other images I have here. Again, this was shown when they first kind of were announcing the updates to the rules here. We can kind of zoom in on this, but it says exclusive dragons of D&D digital art book. So it does say exclusive. So that might be you don't get that anywhere else unless you do the pre-order. And again, the mention here of the Gold Dragon Digital Mini, the D&D digital dice sets, the 34 different frames for your character sheets within D&D Beyond, and 15 backdrops. Again, mentioning this Gold Dragon Digital Mini. And then there's also this, which looks like, if you can see, there is a base here. And this might be the look of what the official, like a full body shot of the new Gold Dragon, and quite possibly what the mini might look like in the virtual tabletop. I would imagine that your goal is to try to mimic the real life physical mini to match the digital mini. So that way there's a through line there. But once again, the reference of the new exclusive Gold Dragon digital mini with digital and physical bundle. Again, and it says disclaimer for the upcoming 3D virtual tabletop. So yeah, I mean that makes it when they say upcoming, what does upcoming mean? We don't really know at this point. We have no information. Now I do know that Watsy is going to be at Gen Con. I do know that there's going to be a press briefing on the Wednesday before Gen Con officially starts. I will be in attendance of that press briefing, so I will provide whatever information I'm capable of providing to you as soon as I'm capable of providing it, as out of that press briefing. I also am hoping possibly one of the folks from the virtual tabletop team will be there. I do know a handful of them. I'd love to reach out and get an idea of what goes on when it comes to the virtual tabletop, because it's kind of been, like I said, in the dark. We haven't heard anything about it. And then all of a sudden we get this bomb of this really cool digital dragon miniature. I also think, and in a slightly unrelated note, that it's interesting that an upcoming video I'm going to have is going to be unboxing the 50th anniversary set of D&D miniatures, which, if you're unfamiliar, WizKids did a set of minis that have basically all of the different minis have a first edition design and a fifth edition design. So, like, if you were to look at the Red Dragon from first edition, it's very different from the Red Dragon from fifth edition. So I think that that's pretty cool, but they have, I think gold dragons are in that mix, and I just think it's interesting that you put all this effort in to make a first edition gold dragon to compare to the fifth edition gold dragon, to then just find out with the 2024 core rulebook release, they're changing the design of the gold dragon again. So there's another gold dragon coming into the mix as part of that, which I think is kind of interesting. So yeah, I just wanted to take some time to talk about this because, again, I haven't seen anything else about the virtual tabletop. It's kind of been, and I don't really see a lot of people mentioning it either. It just kind of is glossed over. So, yeah, we could be seeing, maybe this would be a really cool thing for them to have more demos of at Gen Con. The demo that they had at PAX Unplugged was really good. It was the first time we actually got to play around with the builder. If I was able to film footage of it for you, I would. Unfortunately, I was not able to. I'll see if there's an opportunity to do something like that. I know a lot of people are getting to talk about the 2024 Player's Handbook and different aspects of it, and people are getting to showcase, early access things to that. And while I would love to have the opportunity to do something like that myself for the Dungeon Master's Guide or the Monster Manual going forward, I think I would love to be somebody to be able to promote or show off different aspects of the virtual tabletop, just because it's something I've heard nobody talking about, and it's something that I'm very interested in. Well, I'm not a huge virtual tabletop person myself. I'm very much a theater of the mind kind of a guy. I also am very intrigued what the 3D virtual tabletop from the D&D team is going to do, because it's designed to just be for Dungeons and Dragons. And when I say that, I mean that, like, if a Foundry, a Roll20, a Fantasy Grounds, all of these, they have to do everything for everyone. They need to be able to be usable for Alien and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, anything else from Free League, Pathfinder, all these different systems. They need to be able to do all of the things that you need to do to run those games, have those character sheets integrations, all that kind of stuff designed in them, because they need to function for everything. None of them are specified, which is why I do think that the D&D virtual tabletop has the potential to be the best Dungeons and Dragons virtual tabletop, because it only has to be the virtual tabletop for Dungeons and Dragons. So, I mean, we'll see ultimately, right? Like I said, I've only gotten a chance to play around with it a couple times. Two of those times was the exact same scenario. One was, again, just playing around building stuff, but it was quite intuitive to just, like, quickly erect a building and make a little battle map. But I'm very curious to see what more comes from this, as much as I can get news on this. And I'll reach out to the people I know at Watsy, see if we can't get more information. No guarantee there, but let me know your thoughts and opinions on this in the comments down below, and I'll see you all next time.